From a single dwelling to a quarter-acre block to a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home, the benchmark of domestic bliss has risen over the decades, but so too has the environmental cost. Our next invention offered a sustainable solution.
Water, the building block of all life on Earth. Australia is the world's driest inhabited continent. We understand just how precious this resource is. So it's staggering that over a quarter of the water piped into our homes is flushed down the toilet. Believe it or not, the situation used to be a lot worse. Until our next invention came along, we Australians used a whopping 11 litres of water every time we flushed. But for over 30 years, we've been reducing water wastage thanks to the dual flush toilet. The first indoor toilets appeared in ancient Scotland and were in stone huts with waste drains. Ancient Egyptian latrines used sand and then water. The Romans really had it sorted, with a huge sewer system. And Queen Elizabeth I enjoyed a royal flush with one of the world's first cistern toilets. But flush toilets really came into their own when Thomas Crapper installed 30 for future King of England, Edward VII. Not a lot changed with our toilets until the late 1970s, when inventors working for Australian bathroom company Caroma stepped onto the scene to save water, and our toilet tanks from DIY solutions. I remember back in the 1970s, because my parents were pretty water conscious, I got the job of putting the brick in the cistern.
Yeah, the brick in the toilet was a... but we never really like that.
As a toilet designer, you didn't want anybody messing around with the water flow.
Well, put a brick in it was pretty crude, but that's what you had to do then.
Dr. Steve Cummings was one half of the duo who answered the call from Australian water authorities.
We were challenged to come up with an idea that would save water in the bathroom. Obviously, the toilet was the biggest user of water at that time.
So you had the challenge from government to build a better bog.
Yeah, and it just so happened it just fitted with what we want, what we thought we should be doing as well.
When disco was king, the throne was a simple one-button device that guzzled a whopping 11 litres per flush. That meant every time you tinkled, 26 full schooners of fresh H2O were lost to the sewers. Australia needed a toilet to suit our environment, so Steve and colleague Bruce Thompson began to hustle. But changing the system meant fighting the system.
There was a very different attitude to new technology in the 70s. It's very difficult to get things changed. It was highly regulated, very highly regulated. There was concern about what would happen in the sewer system and drainage system. So the key thing about what we did was we made it simple. Half flush for the liquids, full flush for solids.
And on the inside, it was almost as straightforward. The 11-litre cistern was split into 2 reservoirs. Pressing the full flush button would release both chambers into the bowl, the full 11 litres. But for a half flush, only one would empty, using only 5.5 litres. And so it was all big hair and big water savings for Australia as Caroma rode the new wave into a new high-tech decade, releasing the first dual-flush toilet, the Duo set, in 1981. When a Duo set trial showed a saving of 32,000 litres of water per year per average household, its inventors knew they were sitting on a winner. So we've gone from 26 schooners for every flush down to 13 for most flushes. In one fell swoop, you've revolutionised water savings.
If you use single flush toilets now, you feel guilty about even flushing with it because it's wasting water. It doesn't have to be wasted like that.
And it was only the beginning. Over the next 20 years, dynamic dual-flush duos Steve and Bruce continued their mission to boldly save even more toilet water. Our modern toilet is the result of thousands of hours of research over many iterations. The hydraulics have been completely re-engineered, from cistern to sump. Toilet bowls were originally rounded, like this champagne glass, but this didn't work with less water. So Steve and his team redesigned the bowl to make its sides steeper, like this martini glass, increasing the speed and the power of the flush. Today's sleekly optimised toilets have a full flush of just 4.5 litres and a half flush of 3 litres. So we've got down from 26 to 7 schooners. Wow, that's a huge amount of water that's not going down the drain.
I just feel good that I've been part of contributing to the environment by saving so much water.
Since its introduction, the dual flush toilet has saved over 300 gigalitres of water per year in Australia alone. That's 60% of Sydney Harbour or 120,000 Olympic swimming pools.
Some inventors catch the wave of history, while others are left in its wake. Few have heard of Gilbert Toyne or Myra Taylor, yet Caroma, Victor and Hills are all household names. Regardless of whether they won the fame game, each of these inventors created home helpers that transformed our domestic lives and joined the ranks of Aussie inventions that changed the world.